Symposium on Life and Work in the American Theatre. The panelists are actress Anne Bancroft, writer, comedian Mel Brooks, producer Hilliard Elkins, and critic Elliot Norton. The moderator, playwright William Gibson. Purpose of the symposium is to bring before the public the need to make the Berkshire Theatre Festival, held each summer at nearby Stockbridge, Massachusetts, a year-round theater company. Envisioned as a forum for young playwrights, the company would also provide established writers a chance for experimentation. The plan is to play at Stockbridge during the summer and in New York or on tour much of the rest of the year. There are many other aspects of the project which we'll hear about later in the program.
In 1928, Walter L. Clark, Austin Riggs, and Daniel Chester French bought the Stockbridge Casino for $1 from Mabel Choate. The Three Arts Society was formed, and a check was written for the $2,000 needed to dismantle the casino and haul it in pieces by horse-drawn wagon to the far eastern end of Main Street, where it was repositioned at the bottom of Yale Hill and converted into a stage. For the next 90 years, the Berkshire Theatre would be, in the words of founding member Eva Le Gallienne, a great force capable of spreading beauty and understanding.
I'm going to start a theater in Stockbridge.
The daughter of Daniel Chester French reports on a conversation between her sculptor father and entrepreneur Walter L. Clark.
And we said, why, Walter, you're crazy. A little village of 1,800 people couldn't possibly support a theater. What are you talking about? Where did you get this idea? Well, he's been up in Ogunquit, Maine. Ogunquit has a theater. If Ogunquit can have a theater, Stockbridge can have a theater.
Under the direction of Alexander Kirkland and F. Cowell Strickland, from 1928 to 1930, stars from the American theater flocked to the Playhouse in the scenic Berkshires during the summers to perform ambitious plays by such playwrights as George Bernard Shaw, Eugene O'Neill, and William Shakespeare. In 1935, Billy Miles, a young actor with the company, became artistic director. In the 19 years to come, Miles continued to feature female stars of his time. It was, as Brooks Atkinson called it, the era of the matriarch, and featured the likes of Tallulah Bankhead, Ruth Gordon, Lillian Gish, Eva Le Gallienne, Shirley Booth, Gloria Swanson, and the great Ethel Barrymore.
I was working for Equity Scale. I think $65 was my weekly salary the first year I came here.
Billy Miles worked in a tight budget with all costs being paid out of box office receipts and profits split with the Three Arts Society landlords.
The first season, there was a profit of $1,200, and the Three Arts got their 40%, and I got my 60%, which kept me warm and comfortable through the winter.
And Berkshire winters can be cold, but spring was never far behind, a new season and renewed traditions.
In 1964, the Berkshire Playhouse was reorganized as a non-profit organization and renamed the Berkshire Theatre Festival. Stockbridge resident and playwright William Gibson, who had 2 Broadway hits to his credit, 2 for the Seesaw and The Miracle Worker, became president. Both had been directed by another Berkshire resident, Arthur Penn, and had starred one of the country's most outstanding actresses, Anne Bancroft.
I went into that because I wanted to wear fox furs and have blonde hair and go to premieres with tall, handsome men. I did it all. And fox fur sheds terribly.
Gibson had opened the door to theatrical experimentation, and the BTF gallantly soared ahead, embracing what was to become one of the most fertile and dynamic periods it had ever known. The 1966 season opened with Thornton Wilder's The Skin of Our Teeth, directed by Arthur Penn, and featuring Anne Bancroft, Alvin Epstein, Estelle Parsons, and the youngest and least well-known member of the company, Frank Langella. 2 years later, Al Pacino played a juvenile delinquent and drug addict in Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie? The play went on to New York, and the virtually unknown Pacino won a Tony for his performance. The same year, Frank Langella appeared in Dracula.
We had very good actors here, many of them young and unknown, like Dustin Hoffman and Gene Hackman, Marion Seldes.
But with Labor Day came the inevitable day of reckoning.
It turned out that the theater was now $38,000 in debt.
Berkshire residents Peter Cookson and Beatrice Straight picked up the threads for a season, to be followed by off-Broadway producer Lynn Austin, with Arthur Penn and William Gibson assuming the role of money raisers. But the box office continued to slide, and after 5 years, Gibson decided to get back to playwriting full-time.
I should sum up these 5 years. They were crazy. They were not successful in any terms other than the fact that the actors loved working under these circumstances. The authors and the directors all loved working here. The theater people had a marvelous 5 years.
In 1996, the new Unicorn Theater was opened and became BTF's official second stage. Since the beginning, Berkshire Theatre Festival had a focus on training, and the new theater quickly became a center for developing new talent in all areas of American theater. The theater's next dramatic move came in 2010. The Berkshire Theatre Festival joined forces with the newly restored Colonial Theater in Pittsfield to form the Berkshire Theatre Group. The Colonial Theater had opened its doors on September 28, 1903. But after years as a touring house and a movie theater, the Colonial closed its doors. In 2006, the Colonial reopened after a $21 million restoration. In 2007, singer-songwriter James Taylor performed his one-man band tour, which was recorded and distributed for worldwide release. He later performed there in the BTG annual production of A Christmas Carol. In 2011, Berkshire Theatre Group opened the Garage, located in the lobby of the Colonial. Its name pays homage to its former owner, Berkshire Auto Company. This newly developed BTG venue is dedicated to local and regional musical performers and comedians. This year, New York City welcomed 3 productions, both on and off Broadway, that premiered at the BTG. Dutch Masters by Greg Keller, The Stone Witch by Shem Bitterman, and Mark Medoff's Children of a Lesser God. Today, performing on 4 stages, the Berkshire Theatre Group continues its mission of bringing beauty and understanding through quality theater for audiences of all ages. And our education programs now reach 13,000 of the 16,000 school children in Berkshire County. After my first season of plays, an audience member took me by the hand at the end of a production. She took me to the lip of the stage, and quite seriously and with great intent said to me as she pointed, "This stage is sacred." The thing about theater is that it is the intention of all great artists to try and speak the truth of the play, the character, the moment. This woman, this patron, this lover of this theater, could not have spoken more powerfully if she had had years of lessons in dramatic expression. I remember the power of what she said to this day, and I hold her words close.